Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to go through my Orcust deck profile, and I haven't given you guys a deck list in a while, but I'm ready to do it now because I've been testing this one for a little while and I have cooked something up. I don't want you to think that, hey, I want to play Orcust, I have to invest $200, $250 into the Horus cards. There are solid options that don't cost that much, and I've cooked something up that I haven't seen anyone else playing, and I want to show you the list and show you the theory. So I would encourage you to just watch through the list, and then afterwards I'm going to tell you the theory and why we play these cards, and it might click. It might be like, oh, this is not such a bad idea. I just want to try out something new and kind of try to innovate a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and get into it with my main and extra 41 card main deck right now, but I'm still testing a little bit. But yeah, I'm excited to show you guys. Hopefully you enjoy. Let me know in the comments what you think about the list, but if you're going to criticize it, please make sure to watch the theory portion because there's a lot of intricate stuff that kind of goes into these card choices. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the main. Starting with the Orcust engine, we have 3 copies of girsu as is standard for your normal summon, 3 nightmares because we want to have these in our hand to get rid of, which I'll show you later coming up. Then the rest is kind of standard as well. 1 harp, 1 cymbal, 1 wonder wand, and 1 bombard. Honestly, in this particular list, I'm considering cutting that bombard because it is just consistently bricky, and because of the ways we have things to get stuff out of our hand, we don't really need it that much. And then the last 2 honorary Orcust cards are going to be mekk-knight and greffer for our normal summons. And then on to, I'll just do the Orcust spells and traps now. So 2 return and 1 babble. I actually cut crescendo from my list, and the reason is going second, it's totally dead, never want to see it, and going first, 9 times out of 10, I want to set up babble with cymbal and girsu. So really, crescendo is really a turn 2 Galatea set, which, half the time you want to set a return anyway to clear out dead Orcust cards to try to draw into more engine or more of your other engines that we're playing. So crescendo just was never coming up for me, and it was just a cuttable card. Back when Orcust was popular or first good, yeah, crescendo, a counter trap, was super powerful, but nowadays babble 9 times out of 10 is going to be a much better set. And if we're setting this on turn 1, we don't need to play a brick just so we have something for turn 2. If we're going to win the game, we're going to win, and if not, crescendo's not going to change that. So that's why I cut it. If you want to play it, fine, but that's my theory. The next engine I'm playing is going to be Bestials. I'm on 2 Lubellion, 1 mekk-knight, 1 Baldrake, 1 Druis Worm, and then 1 regained. No Saronir. There's really no point in Saronir in this particular list. There's nothing I need to send to the graveyard. If I have Lubellion, I'm going to search mekk-knight, and then mekk-knight's going to search Baldrake or Druis Worm depending on what I need. Whether it's turn 1, if I want more interruption, yeah, Baldrake is good. Turn 2, sometimes it's nice to just search Druis Worm directly for that removal effect, but generally, never going to need Saronir over these 3. I think these are going to be the better ones in this particular deck. And then on top of that, we're going to play 1 Chaos Space. Chaos Space is it's the dream. Discarding an Orcust with Chaos Space to search Lubellion and gets you into your whole Bestial package and your Orcust package at the same time. What's not to love about the Chaos Space synergy? Okay, now we're on to the tech part. We're on to the unique part of this profile, and I'm just going to show it to you. Just bear with me, okay? We're playing Fright for Patchwork in this deck. 3 Patchwork, 2 Poly, 2 Edgem Chain. I mean, the clearest synergy is we use Poly to get the Orcusts out of our hand and make stuff in our extra deck. So stick around for that, and I'll show you the synergy there. I'm going to try not to get into it until I finish this deck list. And then the rest is going to be generic stuff, kind of non-engine. We have 1 Called By, 1 Rhoda to search the Arma and Greffer, put that up here. 1 Foolish, just as more Orcust cards. And then the rest is going to be non-engine. We got 3 Ash for hand traps, 3 Imperm also for hand traps, and then 3 Super Polys. Because we're already playing fusion monsters with the Patchwork engine, Super Poly kind of fits in quite nicely, and then it also synergizes because you can discard Orcust cards. You oftentimes have kind of dead cards that you're fine discarding, so Super Poly synergizes there as well, and it's just nice removal. A lot of times this deck has a little trouble going second, so Super Poly is kind of nice just for removal, especially in this coming format with Lab and all the fire decks. I think Super Poly is going to be kind of nice. Okay, so that wraps up the main deck. Like I said, 41 cards. We have 9 direct non-engine here, 12 if you count the Bestials, which probably not, but yeah, just a lot of solid engine here, and I'll kind of just like bear with me while I show you the extra, and then we'll go through some like test hands in theory. That's the main deck. Extra deck is going to be 3 copies of Galatea. You do go into all 3 of them, so pretty necessary. 1 IP, 1 SP, like if you can afford a second one, fantastic. 1 Linkuriboh for the girsu combo, and then this is like the least needed card in this extra deck. I was just trying out Topologic Zero Boros, but really if you have another SP or if you have a Chaos Angel, those both are probably going to be better than this. I just wanted to test this one out. For the Exceeds, we have 2 Dingirsus, 1 Zeus, and 1 Typhon. Kind of standard Exceeds package. For the Synchros, 1 Dispatter. So your Girsu can become a tuner, and I'll show you the combo with that having to do with the Frightfur engine to easily get into Dispatter if you have a Bestial. And then for our fusion monsters, we have 1 Muddragon, 1 Garura, and 1 Guardian Chimera. So obviously Guardian Chimera is clutch, like coming in this format. Plus, this deck has so many kind of like monsters that are bricks in your hand but good in the grave. So if you can just fuse away like two hand materials into Guardian Chimera, you are cooking, man, because this format, Guardian Chimera with targeting protection from the Poly in the grave, cooks Rescue Ace, cooks Runic, cooks, you know, Labyrinth has a little bit of a hard time removing it. Like it's not all non-targeting removal with Labyrinth. So a lot of times Chimera will just put in some serious work. But let me go ahead and show you guys kind of the theory and the combos now with the Patchwork engine. So if we're gonna craft a little hand here with Patchwork, and really what we need for this particular combo is 1 copy of Patchwork plus any Orcust monster in our hand. The best ones are going to be Orcust Nightmare or Orcust Harp Horror, because that will allow us to just have full combo with just 2 cards, like Patchwork plus Harp or Patchwork plus Nightmare is all full combo. But if you have something else like Bombard, if we have like Bombard or like even World Wand with Patchwork, that's going to be fine as long as we have a normal summon already, like Armonite, Grepher, or Girsu. So or like access to one of these. There's like Rhoda, there's Foolish Burial, that will be fine as well. And yeah, let me just go ahead and get on into why this is good. So for the easiest thing, like I'm just gonna go show you Patchwork plus Harp. It's the same as Patchwork plus Nightmare, but Nightmare is just gonna send Harp immediately. So we'll go ahead and go Patchwork plus Harp. So the first thing we're gonna do is activate Patchwork to search our Agent plus Poly. And then what we can do here is activate Poly, fusing away our Agent and our Harp Horror. And what that will do is, number 1, get the Harp Horror out of our hand, which is clutch. And that will summon a copy of Muddragon. And we're going to put this up in the extra monster zone. And then we trigger Agent Chain to search another Patchwork, which is actually relevant here because we're going to go ahead and activate Muddragon to call Dark. And then if we want, we can set this Patchwork in the Muddragon column. And now when we activate our Harp Horror, we can summon out a Girsu into that column, and now it's we can activate effect on summon, and it can't be impermed or veilered because Muddragon is already established with a dark attribute, and Girsu also becomes a tuner. So if we add to this hand any Bestial, then we can go ahead and like Magnemut banish this Agent Chain, summon the Magnemut, and now we have level 10 Dispatter access. So you know, Girsu is gonna go ahead and activate, send a Nightmare, and then we can go ahead and synchro these 2 off into Dispatter. But you know, if you don't have the Bestial, that's totally fine. Like this is just like bonus combo. Let's say we don't have this Bastille and we don't get into this Dispatter. That's fine. And if you don't have the Bastille in the first place, you don't actually have to summon Muddragon up here in the top. You can summon it down here, and then your Girsu won't be a tuner, but that's totally fine. And what that'll actually do is protect your Galatea from impermanent stuff as well, because we can go Girsu, send Nightmare effect, send like World Wand effect can, well, actually this is a little rough because we want to send cymbal here just so we can get cymbal in rotation. So that's a little annoying, but like all of that changes is that your Galatea won't be protected by Muddragon. So if we just send the cymbal now, that's totally fine too. And then we're gonna go ahead and like link these off, Muddragon into the Galatea, and then Galatea can shuffle back in the harp to set the babble. Set the babble here and then activate it, and then our cymbal can banish, summon the Girsu, Galatea, we can overlay for Ding. Ding will attach the cymbal, and then we can link Ding and Girsu off for a IP. So basically we got into our Orcust combo that we wanted, except our Girsu was protected from Imperm or Veiler. So that's kind of nice. We also have this patchwork for follow-up. So when follow-up happens, this is also like continuing on to our next turn. Say, okay, yeah, we've gone into SP, whatever, they've cleared our board, and all we have is this patchwork. So we can patchwork now for another copy of Poly and Edgimp. And then if we have some way, like Orcust in our graveyard, like cymbal, we can banish our cymbal here, summon a Girsu effect to send whatever, send the harp that we actually shuffled back in with our Galatea last turn. And now we can go Girsu effect, this is in the grave, Girsu effect to summon tokens. And the nice thing about this is we don't have to link off those tokens. We can actually, or like our opponent will get one, but we have a token here. We can actually just straight up go Poly, Girsu plus token plus Edgimp into a Guardian Chimera. And that will clear our opponent's board, and then we still have Harp ready to roll after Chimera has come out. So it's just a lot of kind of gas that kind of, I don't know, it gets the Orcust out of your hand. Like that's the main issue with Orcust, is the challenge of, you know, what happens if you draw them. And yes, you could play Horus, which will discard them, set up Sark, you know, set up a rank 8. Or you can have the Muddragon protection plus Guardian Chimera follow-up, which is, you know, it's not as good necessarily as the Horus follow-up, just having King Sark still on the field, but you can still have like a solid play that outs a lot of problems that the Horus engine wouldn't be able to. So just having that Guardian Chimera protected, ready to roll on turn 2 with Poly, that's like already searched and set up in your hand, is going to be pretty clutch. So yeah, that's the theory in this deck. A little bit more, the Garura you can also use if you just open Poly plus 2 Orcust monsters, whatever you want. Say like, I don't know, like, yeah, of course, dream scenario, yeah, Girsu, Harp, you can just Poly both into a Garura. And then you can just Harp summon a Girsu, and then Girsu plus can link off with the Garura to draw one. So Garura can also be used with the Poly if you just draw 2 machines. Yeah, another reason I'm playing the Bastilles is just for more dark names that are not machine type, because we really do want to get into that Muddragon. And Muddragon requires different types, so oftentimes Edgimp is one of them with a fiend plus an Orcust as a machine, but sometimes you don't open the patchwork, you just open the Poly directly. So you can search for a Magnemut, summon the Magnemut, use effect, and then just Poly it off, and it's going to replace itself in the end phase anyway, and that will get your Muddragon plus Orcust engrave going so that you can continue on with your Orcust plays. So yeah, that's the theory behind the deck. I've tested it out at 2 locals. It's been really fun. First of all, it's been kind of just average in terms of performance, but I've still been messing around with the non-engine. The one thing I think can be improved is honestly the choice of the Bystials as the secondary engine. Like, there's no particular synergy where Bystials are really building onto your board besides being able to sometimes go into Dispatter, which is really nice, but it's like, if it only happens if everything goes your way in the first place. So these can be replaced, and that's good news for any of you on a budget. Because this is really the only expensive part of the deck. The 2 Lubellions and the Dispatter. Of course, there's the SP, but you can deal with it, you know, however you want. Like, replace it or something else. Play whatever alternative that you prefer. But yeah, if you can find something that is better than the Bystials for you, that can still work with Patchwork. Like, it has to be another dark engine with different types of machine and fiend, preferably, or you just play more non-engine like DD Crows, Skullmeisters, or like Phantasmes, or something like dark hand traps where you can fuse them off. That's an option, but it's obviously not as powerful as the Bystials. Like, Bystials are always going to be good in a dark or light deck, so there's really no downside in playing that, but there is like the potential for improvement. And the last thing I'll talk about is I've seen some Fusion Orcust list around utilizing High Spirits and Cartesia. The theory is, like, you can go High Spirits, send or reveal like an Orcust monster in your hand, say like Nightmare, and then you can send the sprint from your extra deck. So you can send the Nightmare and then add the Cartesia. So I don't like this. I've tried it. I don't like it because this requires you to essentially have 2 Orcusts in your hand, because you need one, first of all, to discard or send with the High Spirits, and then you're going to summon the Cartesia, and then you need another Orcust to fuse with the Cartesia. So if you end up not opening 2 Orcusts, then you're kind of toast. You're going to have a kind of dead Cartesia in your hand, and there's not a whole lot you can do. Or the other annoying thing is, like, okay, let's say we do this High Spirit Send Nightmare, and now we search Cartesia, and now we have a Cartesia and a Girsu in our hand. And now, like, what are we normal summoning? Like, you have 2 normal summons, it's not going to do you any good. If you could special summon Cartesia somehow instead, this engine would be phenomenal, but because this takes our normal summon and we have to have another Orcust in our hand for it to work, yeah, I don't think it's that great. You know, I've seen some people try it, and I've seen some profiles, but it's not for me. Like, I would love for it to work. I love Cartesia and High Spirits in theory, but it's just not that good. So I prefer the Frightfur Patchwork engine a lot more. It's up to you, man. Like, I'm just trying to show off like the innovation that I came up with for Orcust in this particular format, and I want to know what you guys think of it. Let me know in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Hope to see some comments on the deck that are constructive because I can see a lot of hate coming for the Patchwork engine. So let me know what you guys think, honestly, and yeah, hope it's good. See you later.